welcome to the very first edition for 2014 of the Collingwood Magpies BigFooty Podcast. I am the Mighty T, and after a long off-season, a seemingly never-ending off-season, I'm proud to be back in the host chair this week and hopefully for a few weeks throughout the year. I'm bringing to you some good interviews and some good discussion regarding football. And we're getting off on a terrific note tonight. We have a couple of very distinguished BigFooty posters on. One of our own, we have GETSOMENUTS making his debut, I believe, on the podcast. Mr. Nuts, how are you this evening?
Very good, Mighty T. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, look, it's been a good day. It's been a bit of an emotional day in the world of football with everything that's gone on with Dean Bailey, etc. But I'm not doing too bad. And from the shall we call them the enemy camp? I think we're all rooting for them on grand final day.
Yeah, we were.
But from the enemy camp, we have moderator from the Fremantle board, Seppo. Seppo, good evening.
Thanks for having me on, guys. I'm glad to be here. I'm just glad that both of our clubs are opening the season in just a couple of days' time.
Yeah,
it is.
Bring it on.
It is fitting, isn't it? You know, the biggest club in Australia against one of last year's grand finalists. It has a nice ring to it. Not that the fact that it's being played at Etihad is in any way fitting, but we'll gloss over that point. Thank you very much, Mr. Dimitri. Now, let's get started. And I think it's appropriate to start every new season with perhaps just a brief look at the past, and a brief look at the season that was, shall I say. We'll get to you in a second, Seppo, because I'm sure you're aching to relive that grand final. But we'll start with you, GETSOMENUTS. Didn't end the way we wanted it to last year, did it?
No, not at all. I think everybody was shocked and disappointed with the way we went out, but look, it's been done to death, the reasons why and how and who, so it is what it is, and I'm just glad looks like we're moving forward in a good direction this season.
Yeah, and you know what, I really want to epitomise that point. We are moving forward, and I think, that we've really had quite a bright off-season. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I was particularly buoyed by the Geelong match. I thought who we had in and had available compared to who they did. I know both clubs had key personnel out, but I think we had a lot more out and put in a really good showing for the young guys. So it was a really good match. Both teams were having a good crack. The Richmond game, not so much. Didn't go that flash, but I think we're going okay.
Do you think we as supporters should put any stock in these pre-season matches? I mean, are they really a good indicator of season form?
No, I don't think anyone should really put too much into it. Everyone tries to go out there and just... look, no one wants to lose, put it that way, but I don't think anyone's actually going out there to dominate and rack up the stats and that sort of thing either. So you 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, pinch of salt, all those sort of cliches. I think that's pre-season footy.
I think that's very true. However, no one's happened to mention that to the premiers who have come out and just absolutely flogged everyone in front of them. Welcome to reality, Paul Roos. But now that we've touched on the premiers, I think we should move over to the team that wasn't so successful on grand final day, Seppo. We were there a couple of years ago against Geelong. How did it feel for you? Just missing out.
Oh, look, it was exciting to actually be there and for the experience of being our first. But like the coach said straight afterwards, we're going to move on from that as a big learning experiences. You could see the guys were just overawed by the occasion, and guys had shocking games, and it happens every grand final. But I think the guys are going to move on from it pretty quickly, and I'm just glad that we were there, because they say you've got to lose one to win one. So hopefully that drives them this year.
It's certainly an exciting week and an exciting day. You never want to be on the losing end, but as you said and as Ross Lyon said, onward and upward. We'll move forward and tell us. Us Collingwood fans are a little bit naive. We are focused on our own club. Tell us a little bit about Fremantle's pre-season and how everything has gone in the last 3 months or so.
Well, the good thing is obviously the big thing from our list is we didn't lose many of our two best 22 players through retirement or trade. So in terms of keeping our list together over the big off-season has been good. The shorter off-season, obviously going deep into September, has probably affected our training loads, and Ross keeps on mentioning it in all our media over the course of the pre-season. So it explains why we're a bit flat. They've had heavy training loads over our pre-season games, so that's affected our performance. And we've only had a couple of major injuries over the course of the last couple of months, with an odd one being Zach Clark, our young up-and-coming ruckman, going down with a PCL injury, I think, from around Christmas time at the Falls Festival, which was an odd one to see in the off-season. And our other big major one was Paul Gumbleton, our brand new recruit that's gone down in that second NAB Cup game against the Bulldogs only after a quarter of footy, and he was looking certainly fit and firing right through the whole pre-season, which was really cruel. And it's just a shame to have someone that was going to fix our biggest deficiency in our forward line, someone to give Pav a bit of a chop out, just to go down like that so close to the start of the season. But the good thing is he's probably only going to miss the first 8 or 9 games, I think, and could be back just before the bye.
It's interesting you mentioned a few of those names, and Gumbleton is such a loss. I mean, it's one of those things where I follow a lot of the lists with some interest. The lack of key position depth up forward for Fremantle is, I think, well documented, and a lot of people focus on it. And the Pav being one of the only the few options up there that's a genuine tall presence. It's such a disappointment for a guy that really just can't catch a break. But I think with Sylvia, you have made quite a good addition there. Get some nuts in terms of our injuries. I mean, we just can't seem to just go through a pre-season and have everybody on board, can we?
Tell you what, I think Nathan Buckley must have been a Nazi in a past life. I'll tell you what, first man. Look, we haven't got major injuries this off season, so that's a good thing going forward. That's all you can hope for, I suppose. So look, guys are coming back from injury, like Toomey, which would hopefully get a full season out of Clinton Young. That's because I've been reading in the papers, everyone's sort of saying he hasn't worked out, but the guy's played 4 games in his 2 years. So I think that he's going to be just like a brand new recruit. As long as he can stay fit with the soft tissue injuries, that'll be really good for us. But I think we're in a pretty good position.
We have come finally to the end of our pre-season, and both of our clubs have announced some key re-signings. Aaron Sandilands, my apologies. Dane Swan has re-signed, but I think the biggest signings have been for both of our coaches. And whilst one fan base and whilst one coach has seemed to be showered in applause and lauded for his efforts, and realistically, it wasn't even there was no question on the re-signing of Ross Lyon. Having Nathan Buckley sign a contract extension has caused a fair amount of controversy. Let's go first to you, Seppo. The boss, he's done well. Is it the right idea to extend his contract?
Oh, certainly. Some people are actually mentioning with the news of his re-signing that was more important to have him sign over Fife and Mundy. So I'm just glad that we've secured him. And a lot of the external sort of noise going around as Ross, what he was going to do to St Kilda, go in there, sort of rort our list and leave, after his short contract. But I'm so glad that, one of the quotes came out of his interview was his decision was influenced by the players and the desire to achieve. So he wants to hang around because he knows the players are going to be around for that long. So he can see long-term success for our club. And the fact that he's gone to 2017 certainly now at least makes me sit comfortable now that we've got him locked away for that long.
It's that discussion about stability, and it's that feeling of security that that guy is going to be running your press conferences in the next 3 years. And I think that's a fantastic notion. I think it's brilliant. And this is why I think that all the criticism upon the Nathan Buckley re-signing or extension is unfounded. Get some nuts. What are your thoughts on Buckley's contract being extended? Was it the right call?
Look, this is something that really has been upsetting me recently. Look, re-signing Buckley had to happen. He's taken over, mixed team. Everyone said it was mixed team when he took over, so he was on a hiding to nothing. If he had won the premiership with what was considered mixed team, they would have said, oh, that's just mixed team. And then the fact that he hasn't, they're saying, oh, he's going backwards, he can't coach. So he's on a hiding to nothing. Now that he's changed out the list, he's got rid of people that have either retired or been moved on and brought in people that he's comfortable with that are going to work to his game plan and work to his philosophy. He's got, 3 years now to sort of implement what he wants to do, and that's fantastic. It creates stability around the place. You're not going to have the rabbits in the media onto him, oh, he needs to be sacked, he's under pressure, he's on the hot seat, all that sort of stuff. So I think it's fantastic for the club. And you know what? Now is when we're actually going to see if he can coach.
And I like the fact that we've come to round one. It's the start of the season, and I think the performance will do the talking. And I think it's important to start talking about performing on the field because we have a big game coming up on Friday night. What should we be expecting come this Friday at Etihad from both these teams? Seppo, I'm going to start with you. What should we be expecting from the Dockers? Is this the redemption story, and does it start on Friday night?
Not sure about redemption, but it's just a great way to start opening up, and the timing of it looks like we've had certain things fall our way. Obviously, a lot of the personnel might go down to the wire, how we actually structure up. But the good thing for me is looking at the side. You had Sandlands in fine form. We've got Walters cleared for that reprimand. We do have a couple of guys missing, but at least we can go in, open up on a big Friday night at Etihad, which is a preference for us to play in Melbourne over facing you guys at the MCG. So I'm just glad things are sort of pointing towards being really good for us. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things you can sort of look at.
I'm really glad you touched on Aaron Sandilands because I watched him in the grand final and I thought, this guy who's had these injury-plagued last couple of seasons, and he came out and just played, in my opinion, the game of his life. And I thought that his influence was enormous come grand final day. Maybe I'm romanticising it a little bit. How important is he to Fremantle's structure going forward this year and to winning that premiership?
Well, the big thing is a lot of people obviously rate him, and even just listening to how Hawks actually played their midfield around him, because they were just conceding that he was going to win the taps, and it's probably what Collingwood midfielders are going to have to do against whoever, if it's Grundy or Witts or Lynch or Hudson even, it's going to go up in. Sandy's going to win a lot of those taps, and it really can dictate to how we go in the midfield. But it's just important that his body holds up. And there's a lot of things that have question marks over his head, and a lot of people say, oh yeah, he's injury ridden and he won't hold up. He's already committed to another contract extension, so he's planning to see out all this year plus next year. I thought he might retire, but he's certainly fit. He's lost some weight. He's moving around better. I'm just worried that he's actually going to get bumped into a lot, and you'll Ruckman are going to go out there just trying to damage him nearly. So I'm just hoping that we can get him through the game unscathed, and obviously he'll dominate. But it's how we utilise him, manage him, and help him out with some other ruckmen.
Well, it's certainly going to be an interesting duel for young Brodie Grundy. I'll tell you that much. Get some nuts. It's funny because we're the underdogs, but we're not quite the underdogs. There's almost this feeling going around that maybe Collingwood can come out and do something this Friday night. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'd say we're on paper we're definitely the underdog. But yeah, I think I agree with you. There's definitely maybe it's a new season hope, I suppose. I definitely think that, especially if we're the side that ran out against Geelong, we're going to be right there at the end. But if it's the side that sort of ran out in the first half against Gold Coast or all day against Richmond, then we might get flogged. So I don't know which Collingwood team's going to turn up on the day. But yeah, I really think we might win this match, or if we don't, it's not going to be the arse kicking that a lot of people are talking about it's going to be.
Hey guys, how do you think your backline's going to hold up? Because I've been reading both boards over this week, and a lot of talk's obviously been about Marley Williams dropping out and other injuries, and sort of gaps in your back line. How do you guys think you catered to match up on guys like Walters, Main, Ballantyne, and really the pressure that our forwards will put on? Because I think that could be quite crucial. And that a lot of us say, the midfield's going to decide where the game's won, but I think how you rate your own defence and these young guys that are going to play down there could really decide the game and how well we actually go.
Yeah, the small guys did well against us last year, didn't they? Main and Walters. What did Walters kick last year?
I think he had 4. Yep.
Yeah, something like that. So, it's the smaller... But Walters is injured now, isn't he?
No, he's fine to go. Ballantyne's the one that doesn't look 100% fit, but he never seems to play well in away games, so I'm not sure if that would really concern you. It's only the home games that he lights it up. But it'd just be interesting to see how you guys go if you're playing Tuvey coming back undercooked and the other type of matchups. And really, if the matchups are going to work out well for who we play forward.
Yeah, it's Harry plays... If Harry O'Brien... Oh, sorry, Lamumba... he normally doesn't do too flash on the shorter guys. They generally kick a lot of goals on him. So that could be an issue there. It'll just depend on like guys like Clinton Young. See how he goes. If you can...
Alan Tuvey's a must. Tuvey must come back into the side.
Coming back underdone, he's ultra important to us, and we missed him a lot last year. But he's going to be very important as well.
It's going to be a difficult task. I think that if you look at the way Collingwood has struggled in general to deal with smaller forward lines, and I think we actually like the idea of coming up against. We won't talk about Hawthorn because they're a different kettle of fish, but we've enjoyed coming up against a team like Sydney because they play a very traditional, 2 big power, 1 resting ruckman forward combination, slightly slower moving, and maybe it's a little bit more predictable. Main, Ballantyne, Walters. And you can't discount Fife because he's such a dangerous player, and he's just going to get loose because we don't have a player to tag him.
No.
Because McCaffrey isn't suited to him. He's going to get loose, he's going to get forward, and it is going to cause a lot of problems because as Ben Sinclair hasn't had a great preseason. He hasn't been available for a lot of it, coming off a shoulder reconstruction. As you say, Marley Williams won't be playing. It's going to be Alan Tuvey. And potentially it could be, first game of Tommy Langdon, who lines up, or first game of Jackson Ramsey, who lines up off the half-back flank. So it is going to be interesting. I think that the key for Collingwood winning isn't so much what the back line does in terms of its one-on-one contest. It's what the midfield does, allowing the ball or not allowing the ball inside 50, lace out to these small forwards, not allowing dangerous balls in. I think GETSOMENUTS, you agree with me on that. If the midfield works hard the other way, and wins its fair share of the clearances, it's anyone's game. But if we get cleaned up out of the middle, it's going to be a task. Yeah, you touch on a good point with that rule, and I think with Cloak, I'm very curious to see how Freo deals with Seppo. I'm leaning toward your expertise on your team here. How is the Freo defence going to? They're going to be the first team to encounter Ben Reid, Travis Cloak. Well, potentially Ben Reid, a few players, but Ben Reid, Travis Cloak, and probably Jesse White as the 3-pronged forward line, getting delivery from guys like Pendlebury. It's a formation that's designed to stretch defences. How do you think Freo is going to cope with that? And what's your best matchups for these players if the ball's coming down?
Well, the big thing is, it all depends if you go in with Reid and White, or if Reid is going to play forward, because I think Cloak on his own with another key forward, McFarlane and Dawson and Johnson, the combination of those 3 can handle any 2 key forwards, no matter how big and muscle they are, because McFarlane's got form. It all depends if Cloak wants to go up and around. McFarlane's going to go with him. Dawson will certainly get out-muscled, but he knows how to spoil, so it won't be clean ball coming in and easy takes for him, but it all depends on the position and if White is there. If it's both White... if Reid's going to go forward and Cloak is there, it's going to be harder. It's still not impossible. It's going to be up to our midfield to make it harder for them to get clean grabs at it, because it's certainly how you guys obviously see yourself winning with Cloak dominating. But with that rule you're talking about, whatever applies to Cloak at one end could apply to Sandilands and Hanneth, our ruckman, at the other end. So if we're planting the same thing, we're certainly going to get a lot of free kicks. And if guys are going to try and outbody Sandilands, because I certainly saw it myself in the Bulldogs NAB Cup game, where I had Minson try his hardest to try and budge Sandy out of the way with the ball coming in, and he really just dominated. So while I think Cloak can dominate, we've certainly got the same thing at our other end. And
it is going to be good to see. I personally can't wait for Friday night, and it's going to make for an interesting contest. Now, I've got to be quick because we are running out a bit of the time, so I'm going to shoot some questions at both of you, and just let's see your opinions on a few different things, all things football. Okay, so first for you, Seppo. Assuming Freo, Hawthorn and Sydney are the top three, which team finishes fourth?
I'd have to say Collingwood, just to be not nice to you guys, because I think you'll certainly be right up there again.
How diplomatic. What about yourself? Get some nuts.
Yeah, look, you can throw a blanket over about 4 teams to finish in that spot. I think we'll be around the mark. I personally think we're going to finish 4th, 5th or 6th. One of those slots. I know that's like hedging a lot of bets, but why not? Because we're on the Collingwood show. Yeah, Collingwood to finish 4th.
All right, get some nuts. And this simple yes or no. And because there's so much discussion about this, it needs to be very simple. Should Marley Williams be kept on Collingwood's list if he is in prison? Yes or no?
No.
No. What about yourself, Seppo? I'm sure you're familiar with the story.
I am going to say yes, just for duty of care and setting an example of what AFLs can provide.
Seppo, has Andrew Dimitri made a positive contribution to the AFL in his tenure?
Yes, there are certain aspects I'd say yes to.
Very good. Get some nuts. As per Kevin Bartlett's comments this week, should the AFL consider scrapping the interchange altogether?
No, KB's a goose. How's that?
He's an absolute goose. 18 on 18 soccer is just ridiculous. And finally, go on.
I'll put out the pasture. Sorry, continue to the next one.
And I'm so glad that he's not on the rules committee anymore. It just makes so much more sense, especially from someone who says we shouldn't consult a current coach on the rules. Thank you very much, Kevin, and farewell. And finally, for both of you, we'll start with you, Get Some Nuts. Will Buddy play all 9 seasons of his Sydney contract?
No.
And Seppo?
He'd be lucky to make 5.
And I'll tell you what, if he runs out on that 8th or 9th, I hope he gets there, because I just want to see him do it. Just prove the doubters wrong and go out there with your beer gut and your big beard and have a laugh when you're 35. Boys,
look like his old man.
Well, you know what? It might just be. But boys, it's been terrific chatting with both of you. Seppo, thank you for being such a great sport and coming on board.
No worries. Thanks for having me on, and I look forward to Friday night now.
Yeah, as do I. And please float around the board to congratulate us after the game. And Get Some Nuts. Thanks for coming on the show and popping your podcast cherry, as it were.
Yeah, that's. I was just going to sign off on that. Thanks, mate. You stole it from me. Thanks for that.
Stole your thunder. This is the Mighty T. Thanks again for listening. Tune in again next week and go Pies.
Welcome to the first trade drafts rant for 2014 and for round 1 in the 2014 season. So I'm going to talk about what I think will happen this season. After a lot of changes over the off-season, we got rid of some important players like old players like Jolly, Didak, Cracker, who might just not help us in the future. So we had to let them go to play the kids. We traded Heath Shaw for Taylor Adams, which I think was a fair trade. Heath Shaw's best is now or past him, but Taylor Adams is an inside midfielder that we need. We've crash and bang about him and get clearances. We'll help Luke Ball and take Luke Ball's position after he leaves, so that's good. Daisy left, but that was stupid. He left for Carlton to go with his father figure, Mickey Mick. Moldhouse. so that was a bit sad, but, you know, they overpaid for them, so their mistake, or whatever. And we brought in some kids in Kinesis, which is, yeah, he'd be good. We got White, that would be good. He's a good forward, he played well in the off-season, in the pre-season. And we got Armstrong, dud. We got Schamberg and Freeman. We got top 10 picks. That's okay. But I'll talk about the Fremantle game. We should be able to be a good game against Fremantle. I don't think we could beat them because they're just that little bit better than we are. Not a heap, but a bit better than we are. Because they're a bit more advanced in their play development. But we should give them a good run. I tip Fremantle by about 22 points. But, you know, if we kick straight and take our chances, we can win this game. We just have to stop Sandilands as the main worry, and Walters and Bounton, the small forwards we struggle with, we have to stop them. But we should be able to keep it close, and anything can happen in a close game. But I still tip Freo, but up the Pies, and hopefully we can win this game. I'll see you for round 2. Bye.